Hello everyone, welcome back to the JDCodebase. This is the web development series. In this video, we are going to learn forms handling in JavaScript and validation also. Now, forms are everywhere. Login form, sign up form, contact form, search box, everything is a form. If you want to build a real website, you must know how to handle forms properly. Don't worry if you are new to you are a complete beginner. I will explain everything from zero, step by step, and we will also write a real code together. By the end of this video, you will clearly understand how forms work, how JavaScript control them, and how to validate user input like a real developer. Now, in this video, you will learn how form submission works, how to handle submit event, what prevent default does, and why it is very important, how to read input values, how to validate user input, how to show error messages, and some very important UX best practices. We will also see a real world sign up form example. So first, let's understand what form handling actually means. Form handling simply means processing the data entered by the user. Whenever a user types something in a form and clicks submit, we need to decide what to do with that data. For example, login forms, sign up form, contact form, or even a simple search box. So JavaScript help us control what happens when the user submit a form. Now every form starts with the form tag, the basic structure of the form. And inside the form, we usually have input field like a name, email, password, text area, select, drop down, and a submit button. For now, don't worry about validation. First, we will understand how a simple form works. So let's move to VS Code. Here I have a simple basic structure, a simple styling, and having a form ID sign up form and input field for username, input field for enter name or email, input field for password, and a submit button. And in last I have a this error message showing. So I create a simple sign up form here, and this button is a submit, which means clicking it will submit the form. I also add this paragraph tag for showing the error message later. Now let's understand form submit event. The a submit event happen when the user click the submit button or presses enter inside any input field, and JavaScript can listen to this event using the .add event listener. So let's try to write code in the script tag, the JavaScript code. So const form is equal to document dot get element by ID, this sign up form, and apply this. Here I select the form using its ID. Then let's attach event lit form dot add event listener. Type is submit, and function is the console.log form submitted. So I attach a submit event listener here. If I submit the form now, this message will appear in the console. Let's try it. So this is the basic structure of a form. So let's console this. When I click on this, what happened? Cannot read property of add event listener. Form dot add. Okay, I just spelling mistake. ID this let's me copy this sign up form. Just a typo mistake, nothing else. So let's try to submit sign up form. If you see here, this I select the form using its ID, and if I try to submit, the form message appear in the console, but it removes here in a millisecond. So you saw that the page reloads every time when I click, the page reload. This is the default behavior of forms. By default, the browser reload the page and send data to the server. But when we handle form using the JavaScript, we must stop this behavior. For that, this prevent default comes. So let's write. Let's add the event here, event, and event dot prevent default. So now let's try to submit this. So if you see, no page reloading, and a message comes form submitted. I again click on the sign up, the count again comes 1 2 3 4 up to 14. So prevent default stop the page from reloading. Now JavaScript is fully in control, and this is extremely important. If you forget the prevent default, your validation will never occur properly. Now let's read the input value. We do using it by dot value. So let's write here. I have the username, email, password fields. So let's try to const username is equal to document dot get element by id. I give the id in every input field, username, email, and password. So let's write username dot value here and const email equal to document dot get element by id, email dot value, const password is equal to document dot get element by id, password dot value. So now let's try to console these values. Console.log username, email, and password. So let's try to read here. Let me write the JDCodebase at the gmail.com. Let me write the password tu. So if you see what happened, null. Why just give the null? Okay, I have to give the value here, not the area value. So let's try to submit again. JD.codebase at the gmail.com and let's submit. So if you see, the username, email, and the password comes here and the form submitted when I click on this submit button. So dot value give us the text entered by the user, and we can check whether the input field is valid or not. Now what is form validation? Validation means checking whether the input data is correct or not. For example, empty fields, wrong email format, weak password, or validation improve user experience and prevent bad data. So usually we check the required field validation, minimum length, email format, password strength, confirm password matching means password and confirm password. So client side validation happen in the browser using JavaScript in this script tag, but it is fast and user friendly. But remember, server side validation is still required for security reason. Don't rely on the client side validation only. And we should never use alert boxes for the error message. Instead, show clear message near the input field also. So let's write here. We get the username, email, and password. I already write here paragraph tag for the error message, the ID, having the ID error. So let's outside this event listener, const error is equal to document dot get element by ID error. And now let's use here initially error dot text context is the empty string, nothing in this. Now let's validate. If username is empty, then give here error dot text content is equal to username is required, and return here, return from this. This is the first validation. And next one is the email. If email is an empty string, then error dot text content becomes the email is required. And this is not just here, you use this every time when you make a website, when you write a full stack website for building the login, sign up page, sign in page. Every time you use, you have to write this and also return from this. Don't need to check after that if any error comes. And password dot length must be, let's say, 6. So error dot text content is the password must be at least 6 character. What happened? And return from this, return. And now after this, just alert form submitted successfully. So first I clear the old error, means just make them in empty string. Then I check each field one by one. Whether if something is wrong, I show a message and stop the execution using the return keyword. This is the simple and beginner friendly validation flow. Let's try to see. When I click on this sign up, say username is required. I write here username, and now I click again sign up. Email is required, again JDCodebase. Now password must be at least 6 character. I give there 20. Form submitted successfully, and my data comes here. So this is the basic form validation. And so validation flow is user submit the form, prevent default runs, and stop the reloading the page, and then read the input field, validate. If any error comes, again return it, then show error message, and form submit only if valid, form submit if only if valid. So now UX best practice is always show clear message. Like here I write the username is required, and do not confuse user with any fancy word, and highlight invalid fields if possible. Like instead of writing here, just write in the below this input field, and keep form simple and friendly, not like many UX, many animation or something. Now real world examples. This is exactly how sign up form work in real website like here. And small validation on client side is good. Strong check on server side. Means basic validation is good in the client side, but strongly check in the backend side always. Some common mistakes, forgetting the prevent default. This is the most common beginner mistake. Using alert for the error. This is not a good idea. Always show error message here or either in the below the input field. And not clearing the old error message, writing the confusing message. Always clear simple language. Best practice is always validate user input. Use add event listener. Don't use the inline JavaScript or this normal. Use the add event listener, and focus on the user experience. Combine the client and server validation both, and write the clean code. So form collect the user data, and JavaScript control the form behavior. Validate improves data quality, and good UX build the trust. That is for this video. If you are new to JavaScript, don't rush. Practice this code slowly. Form and validation are very important topic, and now you have a strong foundation. The PPT and complete source code are available in the video description. If you found this video helpful, like, share, and subscribe to JDCodebase for more beginner friendly web development tutorials. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.